Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Live with CDP podcast on this Monday, February 28th, 2022, the last day of February, and tomorrow's March 1st. Hard to believe. Anyways, today is season 3, episode 11, and I'm looking forward to my guest. I'm just waiting for him to come on. I'm just going to put him on here right now. I'm looking forward to talking some hoops with him. That is Audley Stephenson. He's the Vice President of Basketball Operations for the National Basketball League of Canada. That's just returned after a 2-year hiatus due to the pandemic and the shutdown. And I'm looking forward to speaking to Audley Stephenson, who's been involved with the NBL of Canada since 2011 as well. So, and I just got a news thing on here from the NBL as well. I'm also a media affiliate for the National Basketball League of Canada as well. And I just got an email from them just saying the Sudbury Wolves, sorry, not the Sudbury Wolves, that's the OHL, by the way. The Sudbury 5 are to postpone their next 2 games due to COVID-19 protocols. So the Sudbury 5 will postpone their next 2 road games, March 1st at Kitchener and March 2nd against the Windsor Express, respectively, as a result of mandatory COVID-19 isolation restrictions. Both games will be rescheduled at a later date in the season. So that just came off the email from the National Basketball League of Canada. I'm a part of their media affiliation. So the Sudbury 5, their next 2 games will be postponed and rescheduled due to a COVID situation. So as much as things have improved in Ontario and Canada, we're still not quite done with the COVID situation yet right now, but the league will reschedule those games at a later date. And the league is returning after a 2-year hiatus. And right now you have the 4 Canadian teams. Right now, London's off to a good start, 2-0. The Kitchener-Waterloo Titans, under first-year head coach Neil Foreman, are now 3-1. And the Sudbury 5 are 1-2, and the Windsor Express are off to a slow start at 0-2. They are playing a 24-game regular season schedule against the Basketball League of the States, and then the NBA playoffs this year are going to be the 4 Canadian teams battling it out: London, Kitchener, Sudbury, and Windsor. While waiting for Audley to come on my podcast as my guest today, I'm just going to play some highlights from the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans game yesterday at the Aud in Kitchener, and they won their 3rd straight game under first-year head coach Neil Foreman, formerly of the Windsor Express. So just give me 1 sec, guys. I'm just going to play a video clip of that game. Oops. Just 1 second, guys. My guest just popped on. So just 1 second. My guest is Audley Stephenson, the Vice President of Basketball Operations for the National Basketball League of Canada, and he's just coming on right now. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I can't hear you.
Can't hear me? Okay, just a second. That might be on me.
I can't hear you, Chris.
Okay, can you hear me now?
What's going on? Audio.
Let's see. Just 1 sec, Audley. Just 1 sec. Let's see. I'm just trying to figure this out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Yes.
Okay.
So it's
So
on
I
me.
can't hear you, and why is that? That's strange.
Okay, now can you hear?
Let me change my mic. Maybe it's
Okay, 1 second. That might be on my end.
I'm assuming you still can hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Loud and clear. Yep. Now can you hear me?
I don't know what is wrong.
Okay. I can hear you loud and clear.
Let me try.
Yeah, I'm going to have to,
Can you hear
yeah. I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear any sound at all, and I don't know why that is.
Okay. Just bear with me. I'm just going to try
Computers
something.
are up. I have no idea. I'm at a loss here.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Geez. What? Must be my mic.
Checked every setting. Let me Oh wait.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay. I apologize again, Audley. I had this problem the other day, and I think it's on my end. I
Oh,
apologize. Okay, are we good to go?
you're out again.
I can hear you loud and clear. Okay. Anyways, guys, yeah. Guys, I apologize. Just be with us. Just we're having some technical difficulties. Just 1 second. Okay, I think you muted yourself. Yeah. We'll get this figured out. Anyways.
There we go. How's that sound?
Yes, I can hear you. Can now you hear me okay?
I hear you. Yep.
Okay. I apologize. It must be on my end because this happened the other day with a guest, and I really apologize. I try to make sure everything's ready to go for my podcast, but even in radio and TV, sometimes things happen.
You got it. Roll with the punches, Chris.
Definitely. I appreciate your time today. This is my third season, episode 11. I was just telling my audience before you came on, I guess I just received an email from the league about the February 5 having to reschedule 2 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were on a 3-game road trip in the U.S. We released a note earlier, a couple days ago, about their head coach, Elliot Etherington, and player having to go into COVID protocols. And sort of as a result, that kind of compromised the team, if you will. And so everyone's subject to isolation. And it's mandatory here in Canada. So they re-enter and they go straight into isolation. So we're managing that, but it'll be fine. Everyone's healthy, and I think that's the most important thing.
And I was gonna say, yeah, hopefully, like I said, things are returning to normal in Canada and Ontario. And as of March 1st, you guys will be able to have full capacity again at your arenas.
Yeah, absolutely. So we saw that coming. We knew that was happening, and so we've been preparing for it, and we're ready to go. Opening day, we had 2,300 people in Sudbury. There was another 2,200 in Kitchener. Now it's opening day after being away for 2 years. And so, in our minds, clearly our fan base is happy for us to be back. As a league, we're being very intentional about doing things such as, media affiliates like yourself, and trying to bring more people part of our journey, and really expand our brand. We've invested a lot more in just the quality of content. We're creating new shows. Our new platform, NBL TV, provides an opportunity to house more content. We had a new website. There's a bunch of things that we really, Chris, we wanted this year to be about a celebration. 10 years to us is a really, really big deal. We're proud of everything that we've done, and we want to be able to celebrate with fans. And so we're trying our best to go the extra mile as much as we can.
I was gonna say, what was it like finally being back on the court at Sudbury's opening game, and then obviously you went to Windsor's as well. What was the feeling like just seeing this league back?
Well, it's been a long road, Chris. I mean, I've been, for those who don't know about my, history with the league, I've been emotionally involved with it for the last 10 years. I joined as a volunteer because I believed in the vision of what NBL Canada was trying to do. I see a question pop up there. I started as a volunteer. I used to podcast, Chris, kind of like yourself. I had an NBA podcast, and I'm sure there's still stuff floating around online. The NBA Breakdown was the name of that podcast, and we were heavily focused on creating NBA content. But I don't know if you recall, in 2011, the NBA went on lockdown. And so we had to pivot and figure out, well, what else do you do? It just so happened that NBL Canada was starting that year, and it kind of made sense. And, the other thing to think about, 10 years ago, social media wasn't, what it is now. So, if the NBA went on a lockout now, there was no content, there was no games, there'd still be lots of content. Players, you still don't know what guys are eating for breakfast, what color their shoelaces are. All information be available through social media. Well, 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. So if there was no games being played, you're like, well, what do you do? And we just saw that as an opportunity to look at NBL Canada, and I jumped on board. I think the number one thing that I had done is I sort of looked at what the league was doing. I knew it was a brand new league, and I also looked at what I could offer. And I kind of figured, okay, well, I do podcasting. The league doesn't have any kind of podcast. Maybe I can fit in that way. And that's essentially how I got involved. And throughout the years, my role with the league has grown and grown to what it is now. And I'm quite proud to be a part of it. So when you go back to the original question, how did it feel? It was extremely emotional. I have worked extremely hard with this league to get it to where it is, and to know that we can be back out on the court doing that thing that we love, the thing that we're passionate and emotional about. It's an indescribable feeling. But I mean, to sum it up in a few words, it felt absolutely great to announce that we're back.
Definitely. And I was going to say there's been some changes with the league as well since you've come back. Could you just talk to us a little bit about the changes with the 4 Canadian teams, and then the East Coast teams, I guess, are put on hiatus right now, and then just the basketball league you're taking on.
So, the COVID situation, it was tough for everyone. I mean, it was a global pandemic. Everyone was impacted and affected in some way, shape, or form. And our league, we go different, really, if you look at it. So we had 2 teams out east, the Moncton Magic. They elected not to continue. And the Halifax Hurricanes had some challenges as well. They also elected not to continue. And what that did was leave the PEI Storm, the Island Storm, which is on Prince Edward Island, and the St. John's Edge. Concurrently, while this was all going on, the St. John's Edge ran into an arena lease situation where they didn't have a lease for their arena. We did have the option of waiting until that figured out, but also knowing that there was a lot of time that was being eaten away, we didn't want to wait and lose that opportunity to be out on the court. So the Island Storm, having recognized now that they're the only team in the Eastern Conference, the Atlantic Division, that does a lot. It creates exceptional challenges from a travel standpoint because they've got to literally fly everywhere. That's just not an economical way to run a team. So they asked for a leave of hiatus, which the board of directors completely understood, and they were granted. And but they, look, I will tell you that those teams, we as a board, we meet regularly, and those teams are actively a part of our conversations. So I would expect our league to have a presence, in the Atlantic Division. we're also looking at in the not too distant future announcing a new team, which is on the horizon. So, where we are now as a league definitely isn't where we're destined to stay. I think this league is still quite bright, and so the 4 teams in NBL Canada, they are as eager as ever to compete. They want, like I said, they want to get on the court more than anything, as we all did, and they're as eager as ever to compete. I think what it's done when you have a smaller number of teams, what you now do is you increase the concentration of talented players, because the number of talented players never drops; it only rises and increases. So you're going to get, I would expect to see the quality of play rise even to a higher level. Coaches are well aware of sort of what they have in front of them, and they're preparing their teams to the best of their ability. Teams, everyone is on board here, which is really, really exciting. I think the TBL adds a really neat dynamic. And we're really kind of excited about that because of the joint partnership opportunities that can be presented. You look at, a couple weeks ago, we announced our All-Star Weekend. It's joint with the TBL. That's never been done in North America ever before. So there's some history with this as well, which feels kind of nice. And what it does, I think it smooths the way for all sorts of really interesting and dynamic things. I do want to be very clear here, because there seems to be a thought, a belief, misconception, whatever, that this partnership with the TBL means that we're merging. And that absolutely is not the case. We are 2 independent leagues that are running concurrently, side by side, that are working together in this fashion because it's mutually beneficial for both sides.
Okay. How did you end up doing this arrangement for the regular season with the basketball league based out of the United States? How did that come about?
Well, it was actually rather easy, and I say that because the TBL president, David Magley, was former commissioner of NBL Canada a few years ago, and to this day, a good friend of mine. And so we talk always and often. I'm a fan of what he's done with the TBL. He remains a fan of NBL Canada. And so we've always been mutually supportive of one another. So when you have those things in place, it's really easy to say, hey, let's work together. When you have someone that you like, love, respect, and trust, anything can come out of that. So it was really, I can't even tell you how exactly it happened, who suggested it first, or it just sort of, as we were talking, it kind of said, hey, what do you think? And hey, that's kind of cool. What would this look like? And that's when we started the exploration, the digging, and here we go.
And okay, no problem. And what I was going to say, the regular season, obviously, you guys are going to be going head to head with them. But the playoffs, it's just going to be the 4 Canadian teams for the playoffs. Then, if I'm correct, the first round is going to be a best of 5, and then the finals is going to be a best of 7.
We'll probably do best of 5 for both rounds, more from a time standpoint. Playing into May is a lot later than we normally do, but of course, we started a lot later as well too. So, our intent is we'll have 2 best of 5 rounds, and we'll crown a champion.
1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and I get a lot of my information from Aaron Sanders from the Windsor Express, and I'm going to have him on my podcast on Thursday, and he's one of the best guys out there, and he's got a bright future in broadcasting.
You're a good guy. We're proud to have him part of the family. Actually, I'm really proud of Aaron. I've watched his development and growth since day one. In a lot of ways, and I've told him this. He kind of reminds me of myself in my early days of NBL Canada in terms of just wanting to bring my talents, being positive, very energetic and supportive of the league in any way, form, or fashion. So, I'm really proud of what he's done, and you're right, he's got a very, very, very bright future.
Definitely, and I'm looking forward to speaking to him on Thursday as well. And this will be my 4th time having him on my podcast, and I'm glad to be able to try to promote the league as much as I can on my podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate you. I mean, Chris, the way I see it is platforms like yourselves are helps with the growth and the groundswell, and helps to raise profile and all these sorts of things. So I absolutely appreciate everything that you've done.
Okay, and I was gonna. You still okay for time for a few more minutes?
Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna ask you, what are some of the other challenges the NBL of Canada is facing in 2022 and beyond, and what you guys are looking at? I think you mentioned an expansion team possibly in 2023.
Yeah, expansion is always there. We started off this conversation talking about a team having to postpone games because of COVID, mandatory COVID restrictions, right? And so when we talk about challenges, as much as COVID is subsiding, and
It's still here.
pushing it, it's still an issue out there, right? And we still have to be able to make fans, have fans feel comfortable and safe. That, first and foremost, is the number one priority. So, we'll be managing and dealing with COVID for quite some time. It's not going away anytime soon. I think we all have accepted that. And so that will be the big thing: dealing with misconceptions, getting folks to recognize that we are back, right? Like there's going to be some time, energy, and effort to get fans coming back out. And we felt good about where we were in terms of our growth as a league, and now we got to get that back a little bit. And that's why there's so much effort and so much energy being put in promoting our product, celebrating our 10th year, which to us is a very, very big deal. There hasn't been a league in Canada that's been doing what we've been doing for as long as we've been doing, and that's something we're quite proud of, and we'll continue to promote, because that is a big deal. The jersey over my shoulder represents what this is all about for us, and so we're quite proud of that, and we can continue to promote and continue to celebrate and continue to share with our fans. And so, but in terms of those are immediate challenges, but at the same time, we're up for them. We've seen worse, and you know what? We think we can turn this around and get us to a great place.
Okay, definitely. One thing I wanted to ask you, I didn't write this down, but how's it been so far with the border? Now with your teams going across the border, how's the border travel been so far?
It's the rules change often, and always, it seems, and so we've got. Look, there's someone else's rules. We have no control over them. We have to do what we're told and follow those guidelines and directives. When we talk about these games that had to be postponed, they're postponed because we've been directed to do so, and so we're happy to comply. We're happy to do what we need to do, but it's out of our control, Chris. We've got to do what the instructions are and be able to have our products and play our games and entertain our fans all at the same time.
Definitely. And you guys are doing a regular 24 games. Is that what you normally guys did before the pandemic? 24 games, or was it 32, I believe?
Yeah, we've done higher in the past. So this is probably the least number that we've gone with. But again, and normally when we start like late December typically. We didn't start till the late February, right? Family Day, almost 2 months later than we normally start.
Okay, definitely. One thing I wanted to ask for one of my friends, Karen, in London. She's been a Lightning fan since the league started 11 years ago. She loves the league. She's glad it's back. But the first day of the NBL TV, she had difficulties with that as well. And she's just hoping things get resolved with that, because she loves watching the Lightning games, but the other games around the league as well.
Yeah, we started a brand new platform, NBLC TV, like I mentioned. A couple of hiccups early going, but I think we resolved them. I don't know if she's reached out to us. I know I've been answering emails directly from fans, letting them know that whatever issues were being experienced. The other thing, and it's certainly not an excuse, but the fact of the matter, we haven't been doing this for 2 years. It's been a while, so there's occasionally bumps and things like that, things that happen. But certainly, if a fan is experiencing something, a challenge, we absolutely are intent on fixing it, as we have up until this point. And so I would encourage your friend to the platform has got a contact, email, reach out to myself and we'll fix it for sure.
Okay, definitely. And I've been to a game before, and I need to start going to games again. I was at a game in 2016, Lightning Express at the Budweiser Gardens with my cousins,
Right.
and I really liked it. It was really good quality play, and I'm gonna try to make my effort to go to some games in Kitchener in London this season as well.
I always, so first off, thank you for that, and I appreciate that. I'm always, bringing people with me, and one of the things I oftentimes say is I challenge you, I dare you to not have a good time, not enjoy the experience. And I'm batting 1,000, Chris. I've yet to bring someone that hasn't enjoyed themselves, because it is really entertaining high-level basketball and quality talent. So yeah, we're pleased with what we have, and we're glad, again, as I said before, we're glad to bring it back.
Definitely. And it's nice to be in arenas again, because we all missed our sports during the lockdown shutdown. And I think I appreciate now being at sporting events more now than I did before the pandemic.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta lose something to truly appreciate it. And when you don't have that thing, you can be able to go, wow, okay, all right, I want it back. And so again, we're just fortunate we do have it back. Yeah, it's ours, and we're gonna again, this is our 10th season, and we're gonna have a great time with it. That's for sure.
Definitely. I just got a couple more questions I wanted to ask you. This one I wanted to ask you. What's a daily day or a normal day like overseeing all the league basketball day-to-day, game day operations, as well as a business development support? And do you have somebody that helps you out in the office with all this as well?
Yeah, I'm fortunate this year. One of the things that we did this year as a league is we made some significant investments in our infrastructure to really strengthen what we do this year, and then to provide me with some support as well. Because it was, whether it's 4 teams, 5 teams, or 8 teams, there's lots to manage, there's lots to do, and so I am fortunate to have a great group around me that they're able to help guide a little bit, and sometimes the things that I miss, they're able to pick up and help out in that regard. And so yes, I'm fortunate that way. Day to day, lots of phone calls, lots of interviews, lots of reviewing requests, lots of admin stuff. It truly is for me, as busy as it is and has been and can be. It truly is a rewarding experience, because Chris, my starting point, and this is so important, I think, for everyone, is my starting point is on the platform of something that I enjoy doing, something I'm passionate about. And so because I have got this passion, and because I love the league in the way I do, and because I want to contribute and help it grow and do great things, sometimes it doesn't feel like work. Are there times that it is work? Absolutely. It is work. It's hard. But this conversation with you now, Chris, I absolutely love it. It's great, because I'm able to talk about a platform and share with interesting people that want to be a part of what we're doing. So, yeah, is it busy? Sure. But it doesn't always feel like work because of the passion and love I have for the league.
Definitely. And I got a taste of broadcasting a couple years ago with Rogers TV
Yeah.
and doing camera work for the Guelph Storm of the OHL. And then it led me to doing my own podcast. And now I've been doing this for 2 years, and I'm hoping to make a career into radio with this as well. So I'm very lucky that I have Rogers TV, learning the TV aspect of it as a
Yeah.
camera operator, and my podcast. And I've been lucky to have great guests such as yourself, Aaron, Neil Foreman, and other people from other sports and professions to come on, as I'm just trying to branch out and hopefully get an opportunity in radio one day. And what you said there before, passion is very important. It doesn't feel like work when you have a passion for something.
You're absolutely right. And I think, I spent a lot of time going into schools. I speak a lot of different sports management programs, and that's oftentimes where I start my chat about doing the work you do and why you do what you do. I think once you can establish that purpose, that purpose is because you love it. Fantastic. At the same time, you also have to think about where you fit in and what you can bring to the table. I hear from a lot of people that will say, "Hey, I want to work with this league," and oftentimes what the first thing they'll do is say, "I want to work with this league because I love basketball and passionate about basketball." And It's got to be more than that, Chris. It's got to be more than that. You know, there's no shortage of passionate basketball fans out there. Go to go to Scotiabank Arena during the playoffs, and you got lots of Raptors fans. There's 20,000 passionate fans out there. There's no shortage of passion, so it's got to be more. It's got to be, and you've got to know that everyone can be passionate about it. But you got to look at what your strengths are, what you bring to the table, what the gaps are, how you can fit in, how you can elevate the brand, how you can make it better. I think if you balance those things all in mind, you're well on your way. And I sort of watch how you've operated and how you stay engaged and how you be a part of things, not just with NBL Canada, just in general. I think you're on the right path.
Thank you. And thank you so much for that. And I'm also have taken up blogging, and I just thought that's an extra skill I can have. And I've already done one about the return of your league. And I'm hoping to do some more blogs about the NBL of Canada and some other sports leagues as well. The more skills and the more you can learn and do, the more valuable you can become.
You're absolutely right. You're on the right path. Keep active. Keep active. Stay busy. Stay engaged, Chris. And like I said, you're doing great stuff.
Well, thank you. And I tell people this all the time. A podcast is only as good as your guests are.
Fair enough. I know a little about podcasting myself. I'm an active podcaster in my spare time. Yeah. That is, so I hear you loud and clear.
Definitely. And have you used StreamYard before? That's what I use for my podcasting.
I've not used StreamYard. I've been a guest via StreamYard, so yeah. I have used it before, but not as part of what I do, no.
Okay, and what I like about it is I can show video clips. I can have up 10 guests, and I knew you were coming on, so I figured we'll use the Kitchener Auditorium as my background as well for my guests.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you. Nice touch.
No problem. I just got a couple more questions I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
What does the NBL of Canada have planned for their fans for their 10th year of their anniversary? Are you guys doing this question? I should have worded it better. Are you guys doing any kind of promotions right now, or are you guys going to wait to maybe later in the season and stuff like that to celebrate your 10th year?
Well, no, I think the celebration will start. We're going to do a lot of retrospective, looking back at great moments in our league's history, because there's been a lot of them. We've been in communication with a bunch of former players, and we're going to be doing special features, things of that nature. I think the one, though, that I'm probably the most excited about is we're going to look at, given that this is a 10th year of celebration, we're going to take a look in history, sort of identify, the top 10 all-time great players in league history. Yep, the NBA just did it with their 75th year, and absolutely, I will totally own that. We're copying that idea from them. We're going to go with 10 years. We have we're going to launch our virtual Hall of Fame, and that's where those top 10 players will go. And I think that will be a neat treat, because that'll give fans an opportunity to reflect back and remember some of those great moments and those great players. And so we're excited about those. I think the All-Star Weekend, again, we talked about that earlier with the TBL. I think that will be a nice treat for fans, because it'll be different than just games played. It'll be an opportunity to see some really neat activities as well. So,
okay. Where is that All-Star game being played?
In Syracuse. Syracuse.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Oh, that was one thing I wanted to ask you too, Audley. I wanted to ask you this. Is your league rules similar to the basketball league in the States?
Yeah, they're very similar. Maybe some subtle nuances. Ultimately, we're a FIBA league. We play by FIBA rules with a couple modifications. So, for example, FIBA operates on 10-minute quarters. We 12-minute quarters, because really, we're looking to maximize the entertainment value. So there's really subtle, small things. But as you've seen, we've had a bunch of games this past weekend. Our Kitchener team and Sudbury team played in the States. And the games have been quite entertaining, quite fun, very gritty, and it hasn't been an issue as far as rules go.
Okay, I was going to say, overtime is what, 5 minutes still? 5-minute overtime, or how does that work?
Yeah, same.
Definitely, okay. And I just got a couple more questions I wanted to ask you. I kind of threw in a few as well, because
sure.
Sometimes when you ask a guest question, another question pops up as well.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Okay, this one I was going to ask you. I'm going to do this one first. Any possibility of having the NBL of Canada games eventually, maybe possibly on local TV such as Rogers, Cogeco, your TV in Windsor, and maybe eventually some local radio stations in the future?
We are talking to a partner now about that. So I don't want to say too much until we
Okay.
find some things, but there are some conversations around traditional television, if you will, or traditional mediums. We recognize that there's still an audience for that, right? There's still a platform for that. As much as everything is online, not everything is online, and so we know that. So there are some conversations currently taking place for sure.
Okay, definitely. And this next one I wanted to ask you, can you just tell my audience again about NBLC TV and how it works and how do you sign up for it if there's anybody later watching or listening this that's interested in this?
Yeah, so NBLC TV, it's a brand new platform. It's what we're really excited about is that it's been created in a fashion where absolutely there's opportunities to catch games for sure, the main primary function, but we want to do a bit more, and we wanted to increase and elevate the brand and create the value of it. So there's lots of exclusive content that we've created that will specifically be on NBLC TV. Exclusive interviews. We've got the league podcast, which is on the NBLC TV platform, as well as a show called Around the NBLC this week. I'm sorry, NBLC This Week is the name of the show. Around the NBLC is the name of the podcast, and so both those programs, I've had an opportunity to see kind of line up with some of the guests, and so certainly they've got some good content coming their way, and that was done as a way of increasing the platform. Certainly, again, like I said, if you just wanted to watch games, you can get your fill there for sure, but it now gives you an opportunity to see a bit more, and so it's a really nice interface. It kind of has that sort of Netflix kind of feeling when you go into it, and you can kind of select the game you want, and you can go to past games. That's also available. But we really think that we've done platforms such as this in the past, but hands down, without question, this is nothing like we've ever done, and so we're really proud of it so far.
Okay, and what is the cost of it right now? I think it was $34.95 for a year.
Yeah, $39.99 for $40 basically for the season to get all the content. Or if someone just wanted to watch a game, it's $5.99 per game.
Okay, and like I mentioned before earlier in the podcast, if there is any technical difficulties, just to email yourself or the league. Is there a contact?
The website on the site there is a contact section, and I mean there've been, like I said, there've been a couple instances where we knew there was an issue, and so we corrected that. But this past weekend as an example, all our great games stream with no issues. But if there are, we'll certainly investigate, because that's what we've done at this point.
Definitely, and we got a viewer on, Aaron Sanders. Hey, Chris. Aaron's always been great with supporting my podcast, and I'm looking really forward to talking to him Thursday night as well at 7:00 as well.
Appreciate you, Aaron, for rolling through, buddy. Hope all is well.
Definitely. And my last question I was going to ask you, and it's right here. Where can fans again find the NBL of Canada on social media, website, and how to contact you again as well?
So let me go back one last thing on NBLC TV.
Okay.
The website is nblc.tv. So if you're trying to connect with NBL Canada on the platform, nblc.tv. The league, of course, is on the socials. Instagram, it's official NBLC. The nblc.ca is the website. We're on Twitter. We're at NBL Canada. We've got a YouTube channel. It's very robust. We add lots of content to that as well, so you can find us on YouTube. And again, we're very active as a league, and certainly myself, I'm at the Audman, and a lot of people can reach me there directly. I do, I stay as active as I can in between my busy moments, like we talked about earlier. But I'm totally accessible, and I'm happy to speak with fans, to answer questions, to engage in any way possible.
Definitely. And what date is that All-Star game in Syracuse again as well?
Takes place Easter weekend, April 15th and 16th on Easter weekend.
Okay, definitely. Audrey, I want to say thank you so much for coming on my podcast live with CDP podcast today. I apologize for the audio technical difficulty, but we got it resolved, and I really enjoyed speaking to you about the league. And I'm hoping to go to some games in Kitchener, London, and maybe even pop up to Windsor. Sudbury, I would like to go to as well, but it's about a 6.5 hour drive from Guelph.
I get it. I get it. Listen, I appreciate this. You do a great job. And don't worry about the technical issues. I truly believe it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And we finish strong. And again, I appreciate you providing the time for me to share about the league on your platform. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Audley. And we'll definitely keep in touch with you on social media. And maybe I can have you again on my podcast just before the playoffs start.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Anytime, reach out.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Take care, Chris.
You too. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed my podcast today with Audley Stephenson. He's the Vice President of Basketball Operations for the NBL of Canada. And again, I thank him for coming on today. And I apologize again for the technical difficulties. What I'm going to do is just show a little video clip from the Titans game yesterday, courtesy of NBL Canada.
Coming down to take on the KW Titans, who are streaking at 2. Can they make it 3? Well, let's see. First quarter action. Kendrick would find Ferguson down court, who had a near triple-double with 27 points on the night. That was a game high. Going into the second quarter, Lance Adams, who had 19 points, would get that one to go, and Little would find Anesu down low. Going into the third quarter, it was tightly contested. The Pharaohs would get a deep 3 to go, but Ferguson would find Shaq Barrett for a comeback 3 to keep the game close. Now, heading into the fourth, the Titans would come back to win this one with a foul and one from Ferguson, who would make the 4-point play, and Joel Kendrick would get into the fun and hit his 3-pointer. Ferguson and Kendrick combined for 19 of the Titans' 22 points in the fourth. Pharaohs only managed 14 points in the fourth, as Coach Foreman has the Titans on a 3-game win streak.
Anyways, guys, that clip was courtesy of the NBL of Canada, and the Kitchener Waterloo Titans, KW Titans, are now 3-1 under first-year head coach Neil Foreman. And you guys can also check out their website, www.kwtitans.com, or just Google KW Titans as well. And it's really good basketball, and check it out. And again, the 4 Canadian teams right now are the London Lightning, who are 2-0. The Kitchener Waterloo Titans are 3-1 on a 3-game winning streak. Sudbury 5 are 1-2, and the Windsor Express are 0-2, but hopefully they'll get on the winning ways this week as well. So anyways, like I said, I'm just going to read some comments here. Darla says, hi, Chris. Thank you for watching. Aaron, we brought you up on here, and I'm looking forward to speaking to you this Thursday at 7 o'clock about the return of the NBL of Canada and the Windsor Express, and being behind the microphone again for being the online voice of the Windsor Express as well. And you guys can check out nblofcanada.ca as well. Anyways, guys, I just want to say thank you to everyone watching this live on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. Thank you for everyone watching on Facebook Live and on my Twitter page at Chris D. Palme. And again, I apologize for the technical difficulties the first couple minutes. I'm not sure if it's on my laptop or my headset. So hopefully I'll get that resolved soon as well. And also, guys, you can check out Audley on Twitter at the Odd Man. That's Audley Stephenson. You can check him out on Twitter at the Odd Man as well. And again, nblcanada.ca as well. And just let's see, guys. Live with CDP podcast. The audio version is downloaded to Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, and my LinkedIn page as well. And you guys can also follow me on TikTok. I'm quite active on TikTok at Live with CDP as well. And also, guys, live with CDP merchandise. My podcast shirts are 15, coffee mugs 15, and my new podcast hats are $18. If you're interested, just send me a note as well. And also, while I wrap this up, guys, just going to let you guys know my next live with CDP podcast, season 3, episode 12, will be this Wednesday, March 2nd at 5:30 p.m. Guest is Ryan Drury. He's a color analyst for the Guelph Storm games on Rogers TV, and he's also a news announcer, reporter for CKNX News in Wingham, Ontario as well. So Ryan's going to talk to us about his career in radio, working in Wingdom, and also being involved with Rogers TV, doing the color analyst for the Guelph Storm games. I know the other day, Friday night, he filled in for Steve Fitzsimmons and did a really good job. And Ryan's a huge Washington Capitals fan, and he does a really good job. And we're going to talk about his career in radio, and we're also going to talk about the 21-22 Guelph Storm. The Guelph Storm have won their last 4 home games at the Sleeman Center after going 2 months without a home win. And the Storm in the last 4 games have outscored their opponents 24-5 at the Sleeman Center, including 3 straight home wins of 7-1. 7-1 against Owen Sound last Monday. And then on Friday night, they beat Windsor 7-1. And then yesterday, they beat the Kitchener Rangers 7-3. Speaking of that, guys, I'm into blogging now. So if you guys want to check out wordpress.com/home/live with CDP podcast.wordpress.com. I just did my latest blog about the Guelph Storm and the young 16-year-old kid Cam Allen, who just had a hat trick in his rookie year with the Guelph Storm. 10 goals, 16 assists, 26 points, and he's only 16 years old. Cam Allen, to me, is going to be a special player in the OHL for many years, and this kid will be in the AHL at some point. He's just an amazing talent to watch. So as of tomorrow, March 1st, all OHL teams now will be at full capacity. So it'll be nice to see the Sleeman Center packed. And the Storm have a good young team here, and right now they're 4 points behind the Windsor Spitfires for 4th in the Western Conference. So the Guelph Storm got a busy weekend ahead of them. Wednesday night they're at the London Knights at 7:00, and then Friday night they're home to the Owen Sound Attack at 7:30 at the Sleeman Center. I'll be doing camera work for that game, and then next Sunday at 4:00 to the Flint Firebirds. So another busy weekend for the Guelph Storm as well. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap up this podcast shortly. Just going to check out my comments. Aaron Sanders, looking forward to it much more. Thank you, Aaron. This will be a record 4th appearance on my podcast. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed my podcast today with the Vice President of Basketball Operations, Audley Stephenson. And I really appreciate his time. And he's the first commissioner of a sports league to come on my podcast. So anyways, Aaron, looking forward to talking to you Thursday at 7:00 about Windsor Express and doing your PA announcing for the Windsor Lancers, and maybe talk to us a little bit about your radio board operator position with CKLW 800 in Windsor as well. And like I said, guys, I'm going to call this a podcast. But again, I want to say thank you to Audley Stephenson, the Vice President of Basketball Operations for the NBL Canada, for coming on. And everybody, thank you for watching this podcast live or later on my audio platforms with Apple, Google Podcasts, etc. So I hope you guys can have a great night and can tune in to Live with CDP podcast, live or on audio, this Wednesday night at 5:30. My guest, Ryan Drury from the Rogers TV Guelph Storm, and from CK, I forgot what that was, CKNX in Wingham, Ontario as well. And I might ask him about the Capitals and stuff that as well. So, all right. Anyways, guys, I hope everyone has a great night again. And again, thank you for watching or listening to season 3, episode 11 of Live with CDP podcast. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you on Wednesday at 5:30 with Ryan Drury.